Hello, everybody. It is Free Tip Friday, and obviously, Alfred does not want me to speak. So I thought I would start this broadcast with this ridiculous cat here before I get started with this trunk show. It looks like Janice is over. Alfie, he says, no, please, don't speak. Um, don't speak, Mama. Um, Janice is on YouTube doing her thing, and Gita is over on Facebook. Hello, no, don't speak, Mama. Don't speak. Gita's over on Facebook doing her thing. But I thought you might want to see. Let me see how giant this cat has gotten. And now I'm getting winded. So say hello, everybody. Give everybody some side eye. And I'm gonna, yeah, he's a big boy. All right, you go back to sleep, Alfred. You get down, because you're giant. Anyway, whew, that was like a workout. So I thought you might want to see him. He keeps me company here in what my brother has dubbed the factory. So we call this studio space because when he came and looked at it, he goes, "Wow, Katie, you've got quite a factory here." And so now we all call it the factory. So it's kind of funny. So yes, whew, Alfred likes to hang out in the factory here while I am working. And my mom said, while people are jumping on, I'll kind of greet and then we'll get on to the business at hand, which is our flash sale. But he was out in the front yard walking around. Because Chris walks him every day because we're those kind of crazy people. And this kid with his parents riding by, and his parents said, "Say hello to your neighbors." So the kid said hello to the neighbors. And I was holding Alfred like that, bringing him inside. And that kid stops his bicycle and says, "Is that thing real?" So, yes, yes, kid down the block, that thing is real. And he's right here with me. So we're all doing well. Um, doing well. Everything's good here in bead shop land. So good, in fact, that it's time for a flash sale Friday. I know you guys love these flash sales as much as I do. And I wanted to give you a little bit of background on how we do some of the buying for these flash sales and some of the special things. I've got some kits you can see. These are going to be coming up for the Great Bead Extravaganza that's coming up, and I'll give you a sneak peek of those in a little bit. But here at Bead Shop, we are super vendor loyal, right? We've been using some of these same vendors since I don't know, since we opened, since Janice opened 40 years ago. I used them when I had, is that something on me or is that just a shadow? It's just a shadow, just checking. So the great thing about being so vendor loyal is that sometimes they come to you. So you may have been watching our social a while back, and you saw one of our dear friends, African trader from West Africa that we've been buying from forever. He now lives in LA. And so when he drives up, he stops here in Fresno, which is kind of cool. And I get to go through all of his stuff. So if you didn't see the photos that were on our social, this is me in, I don't know what degree heat it was, but there I am. You can see the beads kind of behind me there, right? It's like 90 degrees in Fresno, and there are beads all over my driveway. Okay. And there's the van. He shows up with his van filled with African trade beads, which is pretty awesome. Let me go over here so you can see me, which is really awesome. And then our neighbors kind of come out and look and go, what the heck is going on over there? And it's a big bead trade. So it's really fun. So it's great. That day, it did happen to be like 95, which was crazy. So, so that's how I do it. And then I put them into big tubs. And then I have things for like this flash sale. I have things for the Great Bead Extravaganza. I have a kit that's sitting over there that's going to be coming later this fall. So you have to think really fast on your feet, right? Because number one, here especially, it was 95 degrees. So it was really flipping hot. And you have to, it's kind of like when I demo here on the show, you have to make those decisions and you can't second best, right? You just have to just jump in and go, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. I think maybe it was my theater training. I'm a theater arts major. You have to make those snap decisions because the show has to go on. Well, it's kind of the same thing here for us at Bead Shop. We make those decisions and then the show goes on. So it's kind of the same thing. So that's shaken. So we're going to get to that flash sale. The way that the flash sale works, you guys, if you go to our front page, you'll see a graphic that says flash sale on it, and the flash sale items will go live at 12 noon Pacific time. Today, if you're watching me live, it's Friday, July 15th, which is crazy. July's halfway over. And at noon, those projects are scheduled to go live. So this broadcast isn't going to be all that long. We'll cut it probably at about 11:30 or so. And then you'll have time to make sure that you've got your account set up, that everything's good, so that when the products go live, if you have something else in your cart, put that stuff in the cart. Shop before you shop the trunk show, because then once you have your trunk show stuff, you want to get out and check out with your cart, because just so that just so you won't lose your pieces, just because they're in line or in your cart doesn't mean that they're yours until they check out. So hopefully that all makes sense. Anyway, so my mom's saying that we live in a rather upscale neighborhood. It's a nice old Fresno neighborhood, and an African bead trader in the drool-worthy is very noteworthy, and it's great. The neighbors come and they're all, hey, this is my friend, and so it's kind of fun bringing a little bead culture to the neighborhood, which is awesome. I love it. So. So that being said, a couple of announcements. I just wanted to remind all you all. We did some shopping also this last week, and I saw some of you this last weekend at the Gem Show, which was great. It was great to see you all there. And I also saw your friend and mine, our dear Emily Miller. Emily is going to be joining me for the bead retreat that's coming. It's coming in August, and it's a little over a month away. So there's still time to sign up if you want to join us. It's going to be super fun, and those of you who have already signed up, you're going to be getting an email from me soon, because I need a few particulars from you, because I'm creating some special things for everybody who is coming. So I need a couple of answers from you. So keep an eye out for that email. Emily's also going to be jumping on with me starting back in September, though she may show up a little bit sooner than that, with some great seed bead projects. We talked about some other projects as well. So you're going to be seeing our dear Emily, which is, we can't wait to have her. So let's get started. Let me show you what I've got here. Okay. And usually I have, all the big bundles of beads, because I was doing it from the office. These beads already are at our fulfillment partner, so they are ready to go out. So I only have single strands, but I do have big pictures. So let me just jump in with the photos. And I'm going to show you the photo first, and then I'm going to show you the piece and the measurements and stuff like that. So that's how we're going to do it. So let me get this here. Okay, so here we are. Let me jump into this. I'm just going to go down the line because how I loaded them up in here. These are our blue, our dot swirl beads, and I've got them in two colors, and it's hard to see on camera, and I'll kind of put them here off to the side. I've got them in the black and white, and I've got them whoops, sorry, that was the not correct. I've got them in the blue and then the black, which is right here. Okay, so they look really similar, and they're a bicone. But you can tell when I'm holding them, I can tell that this is the blue one, this is the black one. I'm in love with these shapes. If you remember, we used these. Remember that necklace project? I have it hanging here because I love it so. And this is a great project. This was a kit that I did. This is a great thing to do with your trade beads. You know, this piece with, it's strung with the wax linen. These were in the kit in this off-white. It's the same bead, but in the black and in the blue. These are handmade, so they all vary just a little bit. So let me, and I'm going to try and look at questions. I'm going to try and do all of this at the same time. So bear with me here. These run approximately, whoops, I need it in millimeters. Approximately, this one's 27. Oh, I know why it feels so dark. I don't have my other lights on. Bear with me here just a second. I was trying to keep it cool in here for as long as I could, but I have these big floodlights. There we go. That's a little bit better. Sorry about that. Keeping it cool in here for Alfie and I. And then this one here, probably about the same, maybe a little bit larger. This is 28.5 millimeters. Hole size is about 3 millimeters or so here. Okay, so we had these, we have these loose, so you can buy them by the piece. We also have these, let me get back to this, and let me get back, these blue and white feather beads. And I'll put it to the side here, in the kits that I'm doing for the Great Bead Extravaganza, these are also in the kits. But my vendor only had a few of these blue and white ones. And I love these feather beads because they feel very vintage feeling to me. We don't have a lot of them, okay? And so I got them a new one, and I thought, well, we'll do them in the trunk show. So they're about 18 millimeters here. And again, that whole size, it's a little bit smaller at just over 2 millimeters. So you can get that 2 millimeter leather in there. So those look beautiful together, okay? Then I have some more loose things. I might as well show you these loose ones now too, and then we'll move on to strands. I got two pendants. These brass pendants I just adore. And in the kit that I have coming for you later this fall has some really special of these brass pendants. This one is called the 3-flower brass pendant, and that's the pierced circle. They're not gigantic, which I like. So this one is about 50 millimeters across, and the hole size in this sucker, again, it'll accommodate that 2 millimeter leather. This one's a little bit longer at 57 millimeters, and the hole size is a little bit bigger, about 3 millimeters there. So again, remember that you'll see these going live at noon. So if you go to the page now, you won't see any of these listed, right? they go up at noon Pacific time, and right now it is 10:47 a.m. Pacific on July 15th. Um, and so these are the loose ones that we have. Okay. And don't forget, you guys, that um, these, if you're on that page before noon, make sure and hit refresh on that page so that the items will populate. They won't just automatically pop up unless you hit refresh. Leslie asked a question, and Leslie, it's a great question. Will these brass pieces tarnish? Okay, so let me show you something. This brass, this is kind of like a raw brass that I've got here. They don't really tarnish with they're antiqued, but they don't really tarnish much. And the patina of age, I guess, is what I want to say, only adds to their character. Okay, so but I do have, this is our pro polish pad like we carry at Bead Shop. So you could, let's say that you really wanted, though I am not a super high shine kind of a gal, just my sparkling personality, but I like my metal a little grubby. But see the difference there? So you could use that Pro Polish pad. If you don't have Pro Polish pads, I don't know what the heck you guys are waiting for. Pro Polish pads are like magic. I love them. I cut them up into like little squares of 4 and include them with my jewelry when I send jewelry out. But look at how pretty. I shouldn't be doing this on my nice pristine pad. That's how my velvet pads get all junky. But can you see, you can really polish these suckers if you want to. Okay, so it just depends on what you want. You can also, like what Janice would do with this one, she would run that polish pad just around the edge, just to give it a little burnishing highlight, and maybe in the center, and maybe that one. Okay, so now of course my hands look like they're terrible, but that's okay. You guys will forgive me for that. Okay, so that's that. So now let's look at some strands, shall we? And let me move these up. And I've got, yeah, see, of course, I've already now messed up my beautiful pad, but whatever. I'm going to put these in kind of collections that I was thinking about when I bought these, because there were 2 kind of distinctive collections, I guess, that I was going for when I bought these. And I don't know, I guess I was having kind of a, I don't know, tricolor moment here. I love red and blue together. And those of you who've been to my studio or seen my studio shots, red and blue is kind of a theme that I've got going on. And I like kind of a light blue and kind of a weird brick red and stuff. And I know they're kind of what we would call quote unquote patriotic colors, but they also go far beyond that. You know, red and blue has been, you know, you see bunting, you see, you know, the French flag is blue, white, and red. I just think that they're kind of strong, happy colors that I think really make a bold statement. And so these, let's talk about these 3, or not these 3, these 3 colors in these 5 beads that I've got going on. So I had to take a little drink of tea there. So we have had these white hearts before, and I get them. Let me get the photos here, so bear with me here just a second. The white hearts, I'll show you with those. Those white hearts are a very, very traditional African bead. And they're called white hearts because they have, it's hard to see here if I can get it, they have that white lining to them. So when these beads are made, the beads have a white base and then the red glass is put over the top. And again, a really traditional um, bead that comes out of West Africa, really gorgeous. Let me measure the strand for you so you know the length. So it's about 22 inches. They all come strung kind of on this raffia, which is kind of cool. I've seen people actually just put these right around their necks and wear them this way until they restring them, which is also, I think, kind of a cool thing. You can see that the beads kind of vary in size, but let me just get one here. It's about almost 7.5 millimeters in width. And then from hole to hole, it's about 5.7 millimeters. And I'm not going to count the beads, but well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This is 10 beads right here. So you get a lot of beads on this strand. So a real classic, I think, and just really beautiful. And of course, it does have the patina of the ages on this. Then we go to this guy, and this is, it's kind, sometimes they call these like a not really a chevron bead, but a striped bead, or they're kind of like a padre bead, very similar in size and shape to those red hearts, but these are white glass, um, and the white glass, it's opaque white, and then it has kind of a brick red stripe with kind of a royal blue stripe. Again, another real classic. A little under 7 millimeters, kind of going on there, 7 millimeters. Hole to hole, top to bottom there is about 5 millimeters. And again, on these, you can see that hole size is pretty big. So you'll be able to get at least 1.5 millimeter leather through there, if not a 2 millimeter. And then here again, a little over 22 inches in length there. They're nice and light. They I just love these. Sometimes they're called, like I say, the Padre beads. Sometimes they even call these like chevron beads, even though they're not chevrons. They're made kind of in the same way. And I'll hold them up to these white hearts. They're about the same size and about the same hole size. Okay. And then you can see how my mom wants to see all these together, how these loose beads would really work beautifully with that. Okay, so that's these guys here. These are Krobo beads, and they're sand cast, and you can see that they really vary in size and shape, and sometimes even in color. Let me see if I can find the big photo I have. So it's the blue, white, and red striped Krobo bead. These suckers are big. They're a big bead. The length is 13 inches, so about 26, maybe about 25 inches worth of beads. And you can see there's variation. These are sand cast, so they have a pretty big hole. The hole's a little rough, but not a thread breaker. You know, it's similar to Ashanti saucers, if you're familiar with those. Hole to hole, this measures, they can measure from about 12.5 to about 13 millimeter. And then side to side, about 16. That one's 15.5. That one's almost 17. So they vary a little bit. Some are a little, show a little more, what I like to say, patina of the ages. Some are a little more pristine. But it's a heavy, nice bead. This would mix really well, I think, to kind of let that stripe shine. I probably wouldn't add another patterned bead to that, but it would also look really great. You could knot this on leather. and throw one of these pendants or whatever down with it. So they're really beautiful. So, and these are glass. These are all glass. The Krobo is a powdered glass. So the finish, it's a little more matte. Then I've got two in this realm, kind of in this color story of the recycled glass beads. Okay, I've got these. This is what we call our currants because they feel like they have been washed around in the sea. And Kim, you're asking, these are all sold by the strand. So you get the strand, not the bead. So the ones that you see on the strand today are all sold by the strand. So these currants, this aqua, what color do we call it? We call it aqua. And they're a little smaller. I like that size, 8.5 by about almost 10. They're super, they're matte, but they're really soft feeling in the hand. Let me see if I can find that. We've got those guys there. You can see really how beautiful they are. And the length on these beauties, it's about 20 inches worth of beads here. And again, these would mix really well with like these stripes and stuff like that. You know, that your African trade bead stash, even if you don't know what to do with them, if you love it, grab it because you will gravitate towards it and you'll find something to use it with. And like these like blue, white, and red striped ones, I had never seen those before. And so I know that they're a little bit large and imposing, but I just loved them, so I had to have them. It was such a unique colorway. These are a mottled. They're a blue and white, also the recycled glass. And they're kind of on camera. The blue is a little more vivid. You can see if I put it up a little closer, the color's a little more true. Also recycled glass, also matte, also feels very soft. Not soft as in you can dent them, but just like smooth and nice to the touch. 13.5, hole to hole, about 12, almost 12.5. And the hole size is big. I would say at least 3 millimeter. You can get a lot of cord going through there. This I think is like a perfect summer bead, about 22 inches or so. And you could certainly just, if you wanted a sort of a monochromatic look, you could mix these two guys up together, and I think they would look just scrumptious. You could also, I think, pattern mix with the stripes and the mottled blue. I think it's pretty interesting. So this is kind of that colorway of items that I chose. So let me put those back out there. Let me double check the comments here to make sure I've answered all of your questions. Okay. So yeah, so this I think is kind of an interesting collection. I think it would look great as a big statement necklace. It would look great with denim, but I think it would look great with a lot of things. Perhaps if I were going to an evening event, I might make a big statement necklace out of this and then wear some kind of bright red dress. I think that would look amazing. So I don't know. I'm not going to any big state dinners, but you never know what's going to happen. Okay. And you can also, what might be kind of cool is you could put multiple ones of these guys in there, or just one of those there in the center like that. Or you could mix them up and have another one there. Might look kind of interesting. It would be a statement necklace for sure. And you know me, I like a statement. So let's go to our next kind of color story that I've got here for you. A little softer, but also kind of interesting. If you like any of kind of that batik cloth or waxed cloth that comes from South Africa and Kenya, you are familiar with those African textiles. The way that the color is presented and mixed, there's such a beautiful eye for color. Um, and I feel sometimes when I'm not feeling as inspired by color, um, just going through and looking for different textiles from Ghana and Kenya, um, even Nigeria does some beautiful textiles there. That gives you some interesting, really interesting um, color combinations that might help you break out of a color rut if you're having one. I just think they're amazing, and I liken it to also quilters. You know, when we're quilting, my mom and I both quilt, though we haven't quilted together in a while, but hopefully we'll be able to do that soon. And it's when you're working with beads like this, right? Um, Beads like this, you have I find that you have to look at the whole picture of what's going on. Like I wouldn't necessarily say that these two Krobo beads actually go together, right? But if you put it in this larger photo, you know, this larger grouping of beads, I think that you really could come up with something that, again, a real statement necklace, or as we say, our across cultures bracelets. And the pricing, someone asked real quick about pricing. All of the pricing is going to be the um, on the pages when they're published. To be honest, I I don't have the pricing in front of me. You can use your bead shop discounts, you can use your loyalty points, and I have very good pricing for trunk show pricing always. So I think you'll be pleased with the pricing on these guys. So let's go through these. We've got some recycled glass. Let me do those first, and then let me go to the Krobo. So this recycled glass, I've used some of these in, I loved them so much that I use them in this kit that's coming up for the Great Bead Extravaganza. These are a purple recycled glass. Let me pull up the big picture that I've got here, the purple recycled. And they look kind of like delicious berries. They're just really beautiful. A little bit larger than those blue ones that we had. Strand length is about 22 inches, and hole to hole a little bit larger, about 12 and a half, and this one's about 18, I mean 11, a little over 11 and a half millimeters wide. It has a purple cast to it, but it also has a little bit of a brown tone to it as well. But they really, you can see here in my bracelet how they blend really nicely with these pinks and purples, but they also blend really nicely. I've got this, what we call sea green. That's the recycled sea green. These are a little more of the traditional recycled glass. They're a little nubby, I guess is what I want to say. Holes are real big. Again, kind of rough, but not thread cutters. And these can run from about, I don't know, 14 millimeters by about 15 and a half. Again, about a 22-inch strand. And these two colors together, this light and dark, just really send me around the twist. I just love them, love them, love them. And yeah, this is that traditional Coca-Cola bottle color, like my mom observed, you know, that Coke bottle color. I just love these. Now with these, let's look at some of our Krobo beads, okay? This Krobo, this was a colorway that I hadn't seen, and I loved how it looked with these two. That Krobo, again, is that sandcast bead, and you can see the base is sandcast, and then the pattern is also glass placed over the top. Let me see if I can get the The big photo is right here, right? You can see those beauties. And this bead, again, it varies, and it's not cut straight across. So it's about 16, a little over 16 millimeters in length, about 9.5 millimeters or so in width. And then that whole size, if I can get it in there, it's a little over 2 millimeters, so it would fit on the 2 millimeter leather. You can see how really beautiful that combination looks together. I could also add a kick to it and pull in that red white heart, which I think adds a lot. You can see that this sand cast here has that red stripe in it. Look at how interesting that is. And let's just, for fun, because I love to play these color games, let's take out that purple and let's put in that blue and see what that does. And it just, these are just almost chameleons. You can do so much with these guys. So I also have, I had to get them, and I hadn't seen these before. Again, Krobo beads. They're brown with a sunflower pattern on them. Sunflower, what I'm calling a sunflower. Could also be a daisy type of thing. But it's a brown base, kind of a nice warm brown with a light and a dark yellow. You can see there with a red dot in the center. I loved these. I just thought they were super happy. A little bit of a longer strand, about 24 inches, probably about the same size as those green dots, 12 by about 8.5 millimeter there. And again, if they go beautifully, I think, with these purples, let's throw in those white hearts. I mean, look at that. And let's throw in, either one of those beautiful pendants. And it's just superb, I think. I really like these guys here. Let's see. You've got some comments here. I'm going. Great. Okay, and so I've got a couple more left. I've got this. I have these often in our trunk show sales. These are called Christmas beads because they kind of light up like Christmas lights. And you can see that there are a lot of those blue and white striped ones here, but there's also a variety of white hearts in them, also some other stripes. And they're larger. Sometimes you see Christmas beads that are smaller, about 8/0 to about 6/0 size. These are bigger. A few of them have that, what they call that watermelon chevron in them, which is just beautiful. Shiny. These are new beads, not vintage. About 20 inches or so. I don't know what it is about Christmas beads that makes me so happy, but they really do. And you can mix them, quelle surprise, but you can mix them here with your plain currants. They would also look good throwing in a little bit of that recycled glass there. I just love them. So that's these guys here. And they're all shiny. There's a few that are matte that are thrown in there as well. Now, last but not least, kids, there's this really long strand. I'm going to pull this up so you can see it. It's a really long strand of Krobo beads that are a variety of beads, kind of like what Janice would call broom beads, like a mixture of the beads that are kind of left over that they string into strands. Let me measure the strand for you, and then we'll look at the beads themselves. This strand is going to be about 32 inches worth of beads, and the beads go from larger to smaller, and they are a mix of just everything. Some have kind of a weird little shape and nub to them. Some are smaller, some are larger, some are longer, some have a little curve to them. very traditional way of making a trade bead. A lot of the old vintage ones have those curves. Each of these strands that I'm showing you here, they're all going to be different. And I don't have a lot of these. I got every single one that our vendor had because they were so beautiful. Um, I use these a lot when I'm making actually zipper pulls on my handbags, or you can just layer them with some of the recycled glass. I mean, just wear them as is and just, or restring them or not, whatever. Get them in the mail, put them around your neck, and then put your mask on and go to the grocery store. You know what I mean? I mean, why not? Um, they're just so, each one, look at this one. Look at that color combo, right? Orange and white and red with those black dots. So I find real color inspiration in these guys. You could also get these, cut these up and kind of put them into different color families and use them that way. But these will be really super limited. So this color family, I'm going to give you another show kind of, and I think that's everything I've got. Then I'm going to give you just a quick, very, very quick sneak peek of what's coming for the Great Bead Extravaganza, and then we'll call it a day. So that was in this color family. Though, mix the families. I'm just kind of putting them how I would do it. But you do what works for you here. And Janice is saying, and this is a really good tip, JP, is when you get these, just wipe them off like with a damp paper towel or something. They can definitely have what I like to call the dust of many lands on them. So give them a little wipe down, but they're pretty nice. They're pretty pristine. Okay, and then we've got our loose ones here, a few of those loose ones, and we have a couple of pendants. Okay, so those are all coming. Let me get in a little bit tighter. It is about, what is it, 11:15 a.m. here on the West Coast. So those will be up at noon. There's a button right on the homepage at beadshop.com, and just click refresh if it's after 12 o'clock, if you've already gone to that page. Okay, so you just want to jump right over to beadshop.com and look at those. So I also have, let me show you, let me get rid of these guys. I'll put my wrist out and I'll put my little baggies. You're going to have to watch the preview for more than this because you know how I like to tease you with it. But this weekend is, not this weekend. Sorry, I misspoke. Next weekend, July 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, is our Great Bead Extravaganza. It's our Midsummer Market. Midsummer Market starts on Friday night with a whole group, all of us, kind of sharing what it is that we're doing for the weekend. So that's the preview night. That happens. I think it starts at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. You can jump over to the Great Bead Extravaganza Facebook group and sign up for that. So each of us is going to have a few minutes to talk about what it is we're going to do. And then the show dates are going to be the 23rd and the 24th. And I am going to be doing this project here on Saturday, July 23rd, 11 a.m. Pacific time, or 2 p.m. Eastern time. So that starts on the 23rd. That show, you guys, is actually going to be pre-recorded because next week, and you can see, let me put my wrist down there. The kits, before I talk about anything else, these kits are called the beach glass wrap. And I think you're going to love them. I have them in a blue colorway. You can kind of see it through this bag. I have it in this kind of um, red and purple and natural colorway. And then I have it in the green colorway. And I'm calling them morning, afternoon, and evening. It just reminds me of picking up glass on the beach. I wanted to use leather. And so I think you'll really like it. You could also put them on as a necklace. I've got the blue one here. I was wearing it the other day. So you could just layer these as well. I could just layer it with this. Can I get this over my head? I can. Let me see if I can get it over my glasses here. Right? So you can just kind of layer. I'm just going to put all these on because I can. But there's going to be, these kits will drop a week from today. They're going to drop on Friday. And then on Saturday, I'm going to show you how to put these together. So I think you're going to really love them. I'm 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 so excited about these. Let me undo my bracelet. I have to finish the green one and get all these photos over to Drea and Claire. But when on that hot, so when you get this kit, think about me shopping in that 95-degree heat. But it really, I don't know, it was just fun. It just felt really like fun and inspiring. So I was super inspired by these. And I think they're kind of also fun as a necklace um, to layer. So I may just wear these all day. Let me put the blue and white one on too. Why not, right? So that's it. I could layer this. Let's layer this on. I could just keep going. But so just to go over what's coming up for you guys. Today was the preview for the Flash Sale Friday. These will be live on beadshop.com starting at noon Pacific time, and they'll be up until they sell out. Then next week on Wednesday, I have a special broadcast for you that's going to be pre-recorded. All next week, you guys, I am treating myself to a class. I have not picked up a jeweler's torch since October, right? And you know, I mean, I've picked it up, I've looked at them, I've turned them on, done a few things, but I haven't really made anything. So I'm taking a metal smithing class for a week, and I'm going to learn how to set fine stones in high carat gold. I'm very, very excited. So I'll be able to share some things with you guys, metalworking on my Kate Richburg YouTube channel. So I'm really excited. I'm a little nervous. I'm like, a torch, what's that? But I got this. So I'm going to be doing that all next week. But I have a great show for you on Wednesday. We're going to do some variations on that little right angle weave bead that I showed you a couple of weeks ago. We're going to expand on that. I want to talk to you a little bit more about playing around with that and stuff, because I think that right angle weave, you can just knock those suckers out so fast. And I think they're so interesting. I don't know. I was having a moment with them. Then that Friday, I'm going to jump in live for that preview. My class will have been over, so I'll be like totally exhausted, but I'll be there for the Great Bead Extravaganza preview. And then I'll actually be flying home that Saturday when my segment airs. But I'm going to pre-record it, you guys, so I show you how to make this bracelet, the beach glass bracelet / necklace, every step of the way. These kits are going to go live on Friday, next Friday. So watch your newsletters. We've got a limited supply of them, and you know what happened with that expedition kit last time. So if you want them, watch your newsletters on Friday, July 22nd. And then on Saturday, I'll be demoing with them. I hope you like them. I'm really proud of them. I'm really um, happy with them. They're kind of different. I'm already thinking about the fall fest that we're doing. I've got a project that's starting to form in my head. So you think about it and all of a sudden then it's here. So it's crazy. So, so that's my story. And then we'll be back. We've got a great mix that's going to be dropping. Our monthly mix is dropping at the beginning of August. I put some things aside for Janice to make some projects with. I sent her a bunch of photos and stuff of some of our new things. So we've got a lot of new things coming around. The joke is always that being an adult is saying, when things calm down next week, when things calm down next week, things are never going to calm down. We're always going to be running at a million miles an hour, but it's always exciting. This strand, just so that you know, Linda was asking about that. I will tell you. It comes to, I made mine a little over 36, 34 inches, maybe 35 inches or so. But you've got plenty of leather in these kits to make this a little bit longer, or you can make it a little bit shorter as well. Okay. So thanks, you guys, so much for joining me for this crazy kind of topsy-turvy free tip Friday with this African Trade Bead Trunk Show. Just as a reminder, kids, remember to check out our social. You'll see us over on beadshop.com, on Insta. Of course, join us over at the Bead Table on Facebook, and like and subscribe to us at beadshop.com. I'm also going to put up my Kate Richburg social here because I'm going to be posting in the bead table what I'm going to be doing next week when I'm at the jewelry conference, I don't know, when I'm sawing my little brains out or weeping in the corner, or I don't know what I'll be doing. But you can also follow me over on my Insta because I'll be posting over there as well some of my adventures in both places as well. So you'll be able to see, to follow me and see what I'm doing next week. I'm really excited to take some time and be on the learning side of things rather than on the teaching side. So thanks. Have a fantastic weekend all. I'll see you live next Friday for the Great Beat Extravaganza preview. I will have a little bit of a more detailed preview on these for my free tip Friday for next week. So stay tuned. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. So happy weekend all, and I'll talk to you soon. Stay safe out there. There's the button. See you later. Bye-bye.